Hey everybody, this is Chewy Plays Nintendo, and today we're going to talk about multiplayer in Animal Crossing New Horizons. We've gotten answers here and there from the developers, and it even got showed off in the Nintendo Treehouse, but there are still a lot of questions I've gotten from what they've shown. Now, I know a lot of you have been waiting for my video analysis of the Nintendo Treehouse, and I've been actually having a lot of trouble on how to approach it because the Treehouse has really given me more questions. So, multiplayer is one of those questions. There's some mysterious things going on. Of course, these mysteries can all be summed up to the fact that this is a demo build for the presentation, but it does make me wonder. Anyways, I'm going to be going over this instead and kind of breaking down the Treehouse in this way just to make it a little bit more digestible for people. Anyways, here's a look at multiplayer in New Horizons. We were introduced to the Nook phone during the presentation. While it can do many different things, one of the biggest things it can do is call an islander. Simply scroll to the call islander option on the Nook phone, and you can call over a friend to join you for same screen couch co-op. That's right. For the first time ever, we're playing on the same screen. It's pretty crazy. This is a feature I was really hoping for. My first introduction to Animal Crossing was on the GameCube, and I played in a town with two other people. We'd fight over who got to play first and watch each other play through the town. It was a fun experience taking turns, but it would have been really great if we could play at the same time and kind of race each other to different things, for example, digging up a fossil. But very quickly, we hear something that is very confusing and raises some questions about this feature. During the Treehouse, Sam mentions that since Nogami-san has a house on the island as well, he can come and help. This statement is not corroborated in the footage we got. If we take a look at the map, we can see approximately 3 houses. One is for the player's tent, for Kyogoku, and the other 2 tents are most likely the 2 animal villagers because of their different look. One thing that is clearly missing is Nogami-san's tent. I would assume it would look more like a tent icon we see for Kyogoku's house, but it's nowhere to be found. As I mentioned, this could be because it is a demo build of the game, and they forgot to build Nogami a house on the island as well. However, there is another option. Back in Wild World, players moved into a house together. Instead of building your own place, you'd have roommates or flatmates who joined you in the same space. Is Nogami's house actually shared with Kyogoku in this game? Will we have the option to share a house versus getting our own house? It is something I am wondering. We already saw a callback to Wild World character design, so I could see this being a possibility. But, like I said, it is a demo build, so there's no way to tell. As for me, I'd prefer to have my own place, but I do think the option to share would be great, especially if you have 8 players in a town and want to reduce the amount of space they take up on the island. This would be a good way to do that. The next little detail we can notice is the flag over the player's character who is the leader in the session. We see that it does have an effect on the gameplay. We see that the leader opens their menu and picks the item that both characters are going to use. When the flimsy axe is selected, both players equip the axe. It seems as if the current setup prioritizes the inventory of the leader. Later in the Treehouse, we can see that Nogami is the leader, and he has a different set of inventory for the players to work with. This definitely pushes the game toward a more cooperative setting, but I also wonder if this is too limiting. Sharing the equipped items can really slow down the progression of the game in case you all wanted to do different activities. This could also be a decision made due to how the camera operates in New Horizons. Both characters are required to be on screen, and it doesn't zoom out at all if characters get too far from each other. Instead, a character is zipped back to the main villager if they get too far from their position. We can see later in the Treehouse that items are definitely controlled by the leader islander. They switch to a shovel and a net later. Both are duplicated for each character. Finally, the last thing I noticed was going in and out of buildings. It appears that the leader controls whether or not they move into or out of buildings. Both times we see the leader initiate that movement into the building. Also, an interesting shot here shows that the secondary villager cannot leave the building unless the leader decides to. Once they do, the secondary villager just pops up next to the leader villager instead of also using the door. Overall, it seems like the whole camera movement and any movement within the game is really determined by the leader and where they want to go. I'm excited to see more of how this style of multiplayer works. It's the first time we've ever had this in-game, and it's interesting that we can already see some of the limitations in the gameplay. As of right now, we share items, stay on the same screen, only have access to one set of inventory at a time, and one character controls the movement throughout the world. I'm interested to see what happens when we add more players to the screen. We know we can do this local co-op with 4 players, and I wonder if we can share that with 8 other people as well. And can 2 players visit another town from the same console together? For example, I can play with Jackie on one Switch and visit another town together. Can that happen? Is that possible? There's so many things I want to know about how this game plays. Anyways, let me know what you think about all this information. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next week. Bye!